is going to be talking about our 238 years of history. So, Rick, sir, if you talk to these people about your great people you've got coming up. Thank you.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is this. He said something about the Fred Summer gun. I'm actually Brigadier General Benjamin Pedersen. By the way, sir, this is what a Brigadier General is supposed to look like.
Where's the
We
podium?
will present
That's what I was
the
just
soldiers,
looking for.
sailors, airmen, Coast Guardmen, and Marines, ladies and men, that have defended the United States for 250 years. Each of our people represents an era. They will tell you about that era and about themselves. Thank you.
Right.
My name is Ezekiel Parker. I was at Lexington Green in 1775 and heard the shot fired third around the world. I'm an American militiaman. I was called to arms when the British came to confiscate our weapons at Lexington and Concord. So I went on to serve in the rest of the war. 7 out of 10 of all soldiers who served in the Revolutionary War were in the militia on both sides, Americans all.
James Madison, Corporal, 2nd Regiment, Massachusetts, Continental Line. Our regiment served from 1778, 1781, from Quebec, Canada to Georgetown, seeing the final surrender of the British Army there. Our greatest dangers were cold, hunger, nakedness, and finally the British regulars. My uniform and musket are a product of our alliance with our sister, France.
The year is 1815. This is the Second Barbary Coast War. My name is Jack Jolitor. I am a gunner's mate on the USS Guerre. It's a 44-gun frigate. The Barbary pirates have been kidnapping our sailors and holding them for ransom. Under Stephen Decatur, our fleet has gone there to teach them a lesson so that no one will kidnap our sailors again.
This is the year of 1815 of the War of 1812. I am Private Louise Roulette of the New Orleans 1st Militia of Free Men of Color Battalion. We are proud 600 men strong. I am proud to be of the state of Louisiana because it is the first state of the Union to commission black African Americans and African American officers. I wear civilian clothes, but I am carrying a smooth flintlock, a musket, like the regular army. I can load this weapon 3 times in 1 minute. We are under General Jackson against the British 8 miles downriver from the New Orleans, fighting the battle between the time of December 1814 and January 1815. The whole battle from the Mississippi River to the northern swamp was covered with fallen soldiers. We had 71 casualties, and the Redcoats had over 2,400. It was the greatest defeat that they had ever suffered.
The year is 1839. It is the Second Seminole War. I am Private Pete Younger of the 4th U.S. Infantry Regiment. I have been specially trained as part of a light infantry company whose main jobs are scouting and skirmishing. I carry a rifle, which is much more accurate and suitable for my mission than a larger musket. The war stems from President Jackson's Indian Relocation Act, Trail of Tears, in 1830, requiring all Indians to move west of the Mississippi River. The Seminoles rebelled and massacred 108 soldiers in December of 1835. So here we are in Florida on a miserable, hellish, swampy trek chasing them. I'm wearing my white summer uniform because of the heat. We will eventually succeed in bottling up the starving Indians, which we saw as victims instead of enemies. This is a long, costly, brutal, unpopular period in American history.
Thought I saw Pam and James and Mark.
The year is 1863, the third year of the American Civil War. My name is Ira Roper, Chief Petty Officer on the United States gunboat, the USS Cairo. The boat was made to serve on the Mississippi River, on the Western River system. We saw action plenty, starting on the Tennessee River, well before the Monitor and the Merrimack. We thought we were pretty protected by our 2.5-inch iron plating, but we were wrong. The bottom was made of wood, and we were attacked by rebel ram gunboats and got smashed up pretty bad by on a couple of our boats. We got even, though, at Memphis a few days later and pretty much destroyed their whole fleet. We got a surprise down near Vicksburg on the Yazoo River one day. We were looking for torpedoes on the Yazoo River, and we found two right under us. They blown a big hole in our bottom about a yard arm wide, and we set to sinking. I got off just in time onto a small boat to watch her sink under. I've been in the Navy now for 35 years, and I want to serve on a regular gunboat. These ironclads are just too dangerous for me.
The year is 1864, the Civil War. I am John Jackson, First Sergeant of Company 1 of the 110th Regiment, United States Colored Infantry. At the war's beginning, I was a slave in Limestone County, Alabama. In 1863, Uncle Abe put out the word that the Union was putting together regiments of black soldiers. So a friend and I slipped off the plantation and joined the Union Army occupying Huntsville. Our regiment was used to secure railroads and telegraph lines. In 1864, Confederate General Nathan Bedford Forrest attacked my regiment's fort in Athens, Alabama. I was wounded in the hip, but I got a bit of revenge. I shot the general's hat feather while having my men support me. And the war proved that black men can and will fight as well as anyone.
The year is 1865, the war between the states or Civil War. I am Private Matthew Doss of the 19th Alabama Voluntary Infantry Regiment. I was trained in Huntsville, Alabama. The camp instruction in the late summer of 1861 by Colonel Joseph Wheeler. I fought in many battles over the next 3.5 years. Murfreesboro, Missionary Ridge, Turnbull Hill, Kennesaw Mountain, Nashville, and finally Bentonville, where I surrendered. We can remember thinking earlier in the war that I was fighting for my state and country, but after this time, I don't know rightly anymore. I do know that hell holds no terrors, and misery that I and my brothers in arms on both sides have not been brought through. The war will be with me until the day that I die.
Great Indian War. I'm a tribute to the United States South Africa. In 1865, after I was freed by the 13th Amendment, I wandered around living hand to mouth for over a year. I heard the Army was going to raise a regiment of colored soldiers. So I walked to New Orleans in 1866 and enlisted for 5 years. I received $13 per month plus room, board, and clothing. We were sent to Texas to maintain law and order between the Indians and the settlers along the Rio Grande. The Cheyenne Indians took to calling us the Buffalo Soldiers because of our dark skin, curly hair, and fighting spirit. Later we fought renegade Apaches in New Mexico and Arizona. We fought scores of actions, usually with no more than 100 Indians. We're justly proud of our motto, which is, we can and we will.
The year is 1918. Our country has been at war with Germany since 1917, but we're newcomers to the war. Europe has been fighting since 1914. My name is First Sergeant Joe Fox. I'm the oldest enlisted soldier in my company of the 4th Alabama Infantry. I joined the unit in Sylacauga in 1911. 1917, we were entered into federal service as the 167th Infantry Regiment. We fought across France, and I spent 5 months occupying Germany before we returned to be demobilized at Camp Shelby, Mississippi.
The year is 1943, World War II, European Theater of Operation. I am Army Air Force First Lieutenant John Gossarian of the newly formed 15th Air Force in Italy. I am a B-24 heavy bomber pilot. Our mission is to bomb heavy industry, aerodromes, dockyards, railroads, and oil refineries in the countries of France, Germany, Austria, Hungary, Czechoslovakia, and Romania.
The year is 1943, World War II, the home front. I'm Sarah Machen. I work for Boeing Aircraft in California as an assembler. I rivet B-17 bomber panels to the fuselage team in sections. The War Department has really been pushing for the women's workers image. There are posters everywhere praising the contributions of Rosie the Riveter. We supply the skills at home so the men can fight. I'm glad for the work and pay since the Depression has made things so very difficult for so many years. But I hate that my good fortune comes because of the war. Nevertheless, I take comfort in knowing that I'm doing what I can for our boys overseas.
The year is 1944, World War II, European Theater. I'm Staff Sergeant Homer H. McGraw, Sr., assigned to the 3393rd Quartermaster Truck Company. In June of 1944, the U.S. and Allied forces stormed the beaches of Normandy and established a beachhead without official docks. To sustain our attacks, our troops needed tons of supplies. Over 140 truck companies were assigned to run supplies to the beachheads and liberate ports directly to the front line troops. This operation is called the Red Ball Express, meaning express delivery. About 3 out of 4 drivers were black. Convoys rode 24 hours a day, swapping drivers, even on the runs. At the peak of our operation, we were operating 6,000 vehicles and carried an average of 12,500 tons of supplies daily, regardless of the weather. The effort continued nearly 3 months and allowed us to push the Germans back where they belong.
The year is 1945, World War II in the Pacific Theater. I am Marine Sergeant Arno Wilhelm with the U.S. Marine Detachment on the battleship USS Missouri, the Big Mo we call it. I joined the military because our neighbors, the Sullivans, lost all 5 of their sons when their ship sank. After boot camp, I deployed to the Pacific and landed on Tarawa. Shortly after, we were engaged in a 4-day fight. Fortunately, we won. Unfortunately, it was not without casualties. 3,000 men died and many were wounded. I myself was wounded lightly twice. At Peleliu Island, I was in the first wave. I suffered a severe head injury during the landing and was evacuated to the hospital ship USS Samaritan. When I recovered, I objected so much to a stateside assignment, I was reassigned to the Big Mo. Once aboard, I was part of the Admiral's Guard detail. I was present during Tokyo Bay when the Japanese unconditionally surrendered after being hit with 2 atomic bombs. I still wonder if the people can accept defeat and recover, or must we fight them again?
It's 1950, Korean War. My name is Gunnery Sergeant Robert Koch, 5th Regiment, 1st Marine Division. I was in World War II in the Pacific, joined the reserves, and here I am in Korea. On June the 25th, 1950, the North Koreans come across the 38th parallel, attacking South Korea. I was part of the Incheon landing that pushed the communists back to the Chosin Reservoir, close to the Chinese border. The Chinese then sent 10 divisions and pushed us back to South Korea. However, we didn't leave until we really hurt the 9th Army of the Chinese very badly. It was 35 degrees below zero. Because of our actions, we're known as the Chosen Frozen.
The year is 1951, the Korean War. I am Second Lieutenant Diana Palmer, a nurse with the 1855th Mobile Army Surgical Hospital, or MASH. MASHs get medical personnel closer to the front so that the wounded can be treated sooner and with greater success. We are generally only 4 to 5 miles behind the front lines. We have a minefield in our front yard and sandbags around the patient tents. But once, a bullet zinged into the mess tent, hit a post, and flashed into a cup of coffee. I am upset most of the time at the sheer number of badly wounded young men. Our chaplain literally had a breakdown and had to be sent home. Some want to call this war a police action. If so, I wish they would come over here and arrest the communists so we could all go home.
The year is 1953, the Korean War. I am Carlos Rodriguez, a rifle squad leader in Fox Company, 31st Regiment Combat Team, 7th Infantry Division. When North Korea attacked South Korea, the 7th Division was short over 8,000 men. We were given young Korean soldiers to bring us back to strength. When the Chinese entered the war in late 1950, it was like hitting a brick wall to get back. We were pushed back but stopped the Chinese in Central Korea. For the next 2 years, a series of battles in the hills were fought and eliminated. Meanwhile, the generals met and argued with the Cummings over a truce. This year is finally front line, basically in the same position as when the war started. Our CEO says we may have troops on the border here for many years. I'll always remember the men I served with, so many wounded and some killed. They are among my brothers.
It is 1962, the Vietnam War. My name is Staff Sergeant Itsamu Tanaka. I am a U.S. Japanese American soldier with the U.S. Army, an advisor for the Vietnam paramilitary forces called the Regional Forces Populist Forces. The North Vietnamese and Viet Cong continue to terrorize the South Vietnamese locals and populace. My goal and mission is to establish the local military, economy, and government. During that time, while we not only establish the military and the local government, we win the hearts and minds of the local people.
The year is 1968, the Vietnam War. I am Technical Sergeant Ed DeTall Jr. I'm a photo interpreter in the intelligence section of the 355th Tactical Fighter Wing in Thailand. We use aerial photos to understand the nature of the target area, which when combined with other data gives the pilots a clear idea of their target area. We participated in Operation Rolling Thunder, one of the deadliest air campaigns in history. The objective was to eliminate the North Vietnamese air defenses. My gut feeling is the damage they inflict on the North and the failure of TET in '68 crushed the effectiveness of the commies in the field. My mom said the papers, TV, and some politicians argue that we are losing the war. I don't think so.
The year is 1969, the Vietnam War. I am Staff Sergeant Peter Drake of the 227th Assault Aviation Battalion, 1st Cavalry Division, Air Mobile. My battalion supports our infantrymen by carrying them in HU-1 helicopters into the landing zones, LZs, from which they attack the North Vietnamese. We also extract them to a base to rearm and prepare for their next operation. Artillery and supplies are delivered under large CH-47 helicopters. We also help rush wounded soldiers back to medical facilities. As a pathfinder, I aid the pilots in landing and provide control of the traffic around the LZ. The Viet Cong seldom engage us, but the North Vietnamese Army will, even though they know we will pound them with airstrikes, gunships, and artillery fire. A 12-month tour is the norm, but some of us extend. We say it for promotions and pay, but I know it is the feeling of being a proud American fighting alongside other proud Americans.
The year is 1989, the Cold War. I am Specialist Eugenia Hogan. I am an intelligence analyst with the United States Army, Europe, stationed in Heidelberg, Germany. I give new soldiers an orientation about the border between Western and Soviet occupation zones in Germany, what Winston Churchill called the Iron Curtain. As many as 100,000 troops man both sides of the border, awaiting for the possible outbreak of World War III. Nuclear weapons delivery systems, fighter planes, and missiles are always ready. To complicate the situation, East Germans built a wall between East and West Berlin in 1961. This wall was not created to protect the people, but to imprison them. In 1986, President Ronald Reagan said, "Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall." And indeed, on November 10, 1989, the wall was breached by crowds. I am awaiting reassignment since I will never have to give another border orientation.
here is now the war on terrorism. I am Staff Sergeant Stella Jones, a U.S. Air Force Explosive Ordnance Disposal, EOD technician. I am part of a team of 3 EOD specialists supporting 3rd Battalion, 6th Marine Regiment, patrolling in Afghanistan. This is my 3rd deployment in the Middle East. Homemade booby traps and mines called improvised explosive devices, IEDs, have been the largest killer of U.S. troops. Robots, dogs, metal detectors, and sensing equipment built into our vehicles are used to find them. In 150-degree weather, 12-hour day, we investigate an IED blast site, engage in a 30-minute firefight, broke a bridge, swept a mile or so road for more IEDs. I love my job. It's an incredible, important, and only the best can accomplish it.
I am the widow left behind. I am from the beginning, and I go to the end. My names cannot be said. They are so numerous. We must never forget those who have died, and we must never forget those left behind.
Ladies and gentlemen, I give you the men and women who have protected this country for over 250 years. Attention. Right, face. Forward, march.
Well done.